Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the first round of pool play of the World Cup 2 in Major League Pokemon has concluded. Why is it called the first Why is it called the first pool play round? Well, David, why don't you explain that?
Well, there's going to be another pool play round involving the remaining 32, basically the 32 that actually competed in the first round. So, Jeremy, congratulations for advancing.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to discount that pool play round because hashtag last or bust. Last or bust
Anyway,
is still alive, baby.
anyway, looking into the 8 groups here, this round, the top 2 from each of the groups of 4 competitors, not 6 this time, 4, will advance on to the knockout rounds, and we will have a seeding show for the knockout rounds next week on Casual Mode. It'll be its own segment.
Alright, let's take a look at all of the groups in order, starting with the Kanto pool.
Out in the Kanto region, we have Eric Thomas, who has dominated the first round with a perfect 5-0 record. Doesn't look like he will have too much trouble, even though I think Julian Fleming might give him some trouble, and Dylan Maldonado is always a wildcard threat. So look out for either one of them in battle. The Hobo King, I don't think is going to advance very far, just my opinion, though. But yeah, if Alan reads this in the video, he knows. He knows he sucks.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
All right, down in the Johto group, the winner from the Pacific Coast, Autumn Alicia Figueroa, will be on top of the Johto group. Accompanying her, Justin Salidi, who finished runner-up in my opinion, a much tougher group. So I think it could go either way between these two. Brian Griffin also is quite the wild card and looks to be pretty dangerous in this. And Nicholas Negrin, who pulled off a upset over Doma and D4 in the, I think it's in the D4. Very difficult for me to pronounce that, ND, in the first round of the tournament.
And now we come into the Hoenn region, which, spoiler warning, is the region in which I am placed.
And is also a region where the reigning Major League Pokemon champion is placed.
I'm gonna die!
Alex Cohen is in this one. Isabel Brundell, something like that, making up the number 2 spot. Jeremy Kyle is the number 3 spot, and Ryan Rivera taking up the rear.
I am so screwed. Hashtag last or bust.
I don't know. I don't know. That looks like except for the champ. I mean, the champ has I think is going to just rip through this group.
In all fairness, though, I did get a couple of battles in on my pool play. One against people we've yet to talk about, and one of them was actually against one of the names that was come across Major League Pokemon news on a fairly regular basis, but we'll talk about that more once we get further down the list.
All right, down in the Sinnoh group, the former champion, Alex Carbo, who had been champion for a good, I think, 8-9 months. He will be accompanied with Eric Burkhalter, who is definitely fired up for this one. I just talked with him earlier a couple days ago, and he's just fired up to win this tournament at all costs. So, to be perfectly honest, you might think Carbo is the overwhelming favorite here in Sinnoh, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I would not be surprised if Carbo finished runner-up in this one.
Well, who do you think?
The other two making up the rear is Kay Moore and Wes White. Kay Moore, very popular in the Facebook regions. I like to dub her because her favorite Pokemon is Glaceon, the Ice Queen.
I love them evolution.
Kay look like, I mean, any of one of those 3, Eric Kay or Wes, make up a spot, and then I think Alex might get the other spot, but that's just my predictions. So, you remember in our interview, Jeremy, we interviewed Chrissy Hadaway and Chuck Pierce, the hiker and the Pokemon trainer girl?
Yes, I do. I remember that very well. Very nice people.
This round, they're going to be facing each other. In the Unova group, we have Rommel Alexander Maltez of Nicaragua heading the Unova group. In the second position, Chrissy Hadaway. In the third position, Sylvia Gatunitin. And in the fourth position, Chuck Pierce. And I am having such difficulty with a lot of these names. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Having faced Rommel in the initial round of pool play, my heart goes out to Chrissy and Chuck because not giving too much away so as not to be accused of trying to dip the scales here. Rommel's team was brutal. I only managed to KO one of his Pokemon.
Something interesting you notice in the Kalos group, and that is a ranked trainer takes up the number 2 spot. And actually, that reason is exactly what Jeremy was talking about. Wayne Trimnell did not win his group in the first round. He finished runner-up and has taken up the number 2 spot in the Kalos group, with the lead being Donovan Hicks of North Carolina. Taking up the rear, Akahiro Suki and Matthew Rivera.
And it should be noted, though, that Wayne Trimnell, again, was in my pool play group as well. I had a very good, very even-handed battle against him. It was a lot closer than the ending score ended up being, because he ended up beating me 4-0, but it was a lot closer. I got dangerously close to knocking out a third Pokemon on several occasions. And honestly, after my first loss to Rommel, I was feeling kind of sad competitively, but I really have to thank Wayne, because a battle that good really made me feel a lot better about competing in Major League Pokemon type things.
Down in the Ore group, leading the charge is Patrick Ilg, and looking like, in my opinion, one of the 2 groups of death. This one in the Orange group, which I'll show later on. Trailing on in the second position is Alexander Lenga of the United Kingdom, followed by Jason Pennyworth and Victoria Ladawick. And to be perfectly honest, this is one of those groups where it literally is anybody's game.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting group to watch. Also named after kind of one of the lesser-loved groups, lesser-loved regions in the Pokemon canon. We need more games out of Ore. I want a sequel to XD. I want more Shadow Lugia, damn it.
And finally, in the Orange group, the second group of death, led by Dylan Kisaragi, heading down the line there, Charles Ortiz taking the number 2 spot, getting a shock loss himself to Patrick in the first round of the tournament. Delma and D4 and Kevin McAdams, rounding up the rear of this very brutal group of death, if you ask me.
Yeah, but as far as my group goes, I'm screwed!
So next week we will have the seeding show, and we'll talk about how the seeding is going to work and who will be seeded 1 through 16 straight down the line in the knockout rounds. And of course, from there on, it'll be a best of 3 single elimination match to determine the new and first ever Major League Pokemon Network champion. And that is Major League Pokemon News.
All right. And best of luck to all the competitors in all the groups. Even the one, though I do have to mention to Isabel, to Alex, to Alex Cohen and to Ryan. You don't really need luck. You're facing me.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we'll see you back tomorrow, because we're probably going to have quite a bit of sports news to talk about, including a review. Yes, that's right. For once, not displaced in time. Review of Money in the Bank.
Hey everyone, this is David. Like what you hear? Check us out on the internet at casualmodepodcast.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/casualmodepodcast, any one of our social media links, and of course, click on the little subscribe button below. Thanks!